Hello people the internet, how is it doing? Before I start this video, I know people probably have different opinions on this subject, Brexit. I know it's a mess, let's put it that way. And I understand people have different opinions. Just hear me out, I suppose you could say. And then I listen to your opinions because at the moment in time, the way it looks to me and the way it looks to everybody in my community, it looks like it's going to be no deal Brexit. And what that means is a hard border because obviously the new Prime Minister Boris Johnson who replaced Theresa May. Theresa May was talking about you, talking to Europe, trying to get a deal. Boris Johnson doesn't seem like the backstop is a big thing. He seems as anti-democratic. In a way, I kind of see him as anti-democratic, but it is important. It is important because we don't want customs checks. We don't want the British Army and the border, and all that hassle again. We don't want people getting shot unnecessarily. We don't want trouble. That's the one thing we don't want in this country. We have enough trouble as it is, and we just want peace. That's all we want in this country. We don't want any hassle. The Irish people have suffered enough over the last 100 years to have more hassle and have more grievance, and everybody's basically can't afford to keep themselves alive and known to do that. But as I said, I think Boris Johnson's he's at the European. He's not really caring what the European governments think about Germany, France, and to be honest, I wouldn't blame him because that's what happened to Ireland. Ireland went off looking for a loan from the EU and, basically own Ireland. That's basically what the EU does to Ireland. But he should really consider the backstop. He seems as anti-democratic. Obviously, I do see a bit of it as anti-democratic, but it's important. It is really important. That's what's stopping the whole Brexit process and everything because it's over the backstop, and that's really the only thing it is. It would have probably been sorted out a long time ago. So I think Boris Johnson would just leave the EU without a deal, and it probably will. It will. I have to say it here, and I have to say it now to people. The British economy could take 7 or 8 hits, big hits, if they absolutely crash out of the EU in October. The British economy can take 6 or 7 hits, big hits, lose billions of dollars, a pound, because the British economy is big and have a huge amount of money and resolve, I'm sure, the British government. Well, compared to Ireland, if everything went up, tits up, let's put it that way, with trade, because Ireland's biggest trade partner is England, obviously, because England's right beside us. The Irish economy can't take it, and the Irish economy is at risk already of boiling over because there's too much inflation, I suppose you could say. That's the word I can use, because there's too much money being processed around the country, and this, that, and the other. And we have to remember that Ireland is still paying off its big debt to the EU. They only have paid interest at the moment of time. But in 2008 they took out a loan because the banks bankrupted this country, and the government had to take on the loan of the banks, which it was a massive amount of money they had to pay back. And they only paid interest to the EU already on 62 billion to the EU, and they haven't even paid off the debt yet. Imagine what that would do to the Irish economy if Britain crashed out in the morning and we couldn't trade with Britain because the EU laws and everything like that and customs checks and everything like that. It would affect the economy. It would affect the Irish economy. It wouldn't. To say that it would affect it greatly is still debated, I suppose you could say. We're still debating about it. But I would think that the Irish people now, the Irish state would lose huge amounts, would probably lose nearly all of its economy because, it'd be hopeless really if that does happen, because I'm sure Boris Johnson has the Irish, as I'm sure, worried about Ireland, because obviously Ireland had no say in Britain leaving or staying. None not under the say, and they obviously said to remain. So it is a big thing. It is a big thing to know Brexit. But I don't know, maybe people think about it different, because I've been talking to people who do accountants, do politics, bankers, them kind of people, and they see it the same way as me. There'll be no deal Brexit, there'll be customs checks. The Irish economy will flatline, the Irish economy completely collapse into itself, and the British economy will take a few hits and be steady, but the Irish economy will just completely collapse into itself, like in 2008. The whole country absolutely collapsed because they couldn't afford to pay off the debt. And there was jobs, and obviously the whole country went into depression and the recession, and tons and tons of people ended up homeless. But as I said, we can only hope for the best, and we can only hope that the British government will keep in mind, and the same with Gibraltar. They were talking about Gibraltar too, a British colony, obviously, in near Spain. it now affects Spain much because the Irish border is a huge thing. Like as you can see, Gibraltar's only a small little place over there. It's not that big of a place, but the Irish border is big. It is big. It's big. You might not think it's big, but it is big. It's biggest, suppose, area apart from the British Empire, apart from the island of United Kingdom. So I really, really hope that it doesn't go to a no deal Brexit because people are worried. People are worried sick. There's farmers worried sick about exporting cattle to Northern Ireland. There's people really just worried sick and really just there's loads of inflation around Cavan, Monaghan, the border areas because people are afraid to invest because if the Brexit goes bad and everything goes up in the air, blows up, everything's going to flatten out, and that's why people are afraid to invest in the border regions in Cavan and Monaghan, Donegal, Louth. Even in some parts of the north, there's not enough investment because the people are afraid. People are afraid, and that's simple as that because nobody knows what's going to happen. But we can only hope for the best. As I said, Boris Johnson, I would like him just to try and understand that the Irish economy is not as strong as probably the outside world takes because the Irish economy is very weak, and that's really what I'm going to say because we still haven't paid off the loan to the EU, and that's going to kill us if we have to take out another loan to pay off if we did completely fall apart in the morning. The country would be forever gone, and that's really simple as that. We'll never be able to pay it off again because we only paid interest. We haven't even started paying off the loan yet. So yeah, thank you for watching. I really, really hope for the best, and really, because it's really, really just annoying for people. It's really annoying for people, but we have to respect the people in England's decision to leave the EU. Obviously, they voted overwhelmingly to leave. We have to respect the people in the North's opinion too, because they voted to remain. Most of them, and the people in Scotland voted to remain too. So we have to respect everybody's opinion because it is a very touchy subject, and I really understand that to people. And we can only hope for the best. I'm sure everybody can agree we don't want the two economies, the Irish economy and the British economy, to collapse. I'm sure everybody can agree on that, and to flatten out, and I suppose to even destabilise. I suppose that's the best word. I'm sure everybody can agree, and I'm sure everybody would agree that we would just want Britain to leave the EU very steadily and have a deal and have this sorted out and that sorted out, better trade, no customs, what to do with that and what to do with this, to have everything sorted out instead of just clocking themselves out of the EU in the morning and nobody knows what to do then. So yeah, I hope I didn't ramble on, but that's just my opinion because I am afraid myself of what could happen to both the Irish economy and to the people in Northern Ireland, to the people in Scotland, to the people in Wales and the people in England, and what could happen to them. Because we're all people that really cares for each other. We don't want something to happen to our economies. I understand, the Irish people understand that more than anything else because in 2008 we suffered how. Anyway, thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and bye. Let me know what you think. Do you think it'd be a no deal Brexit, and do you think it'd be a soft Brexit, as they would say? Anyway, thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and bye.